I bet you notice that there's a lot of short videos telling you that you can make this great looking homemade bread. And it seems like it's easy, but is it? Well, I'm here to tell you that it is. But I have just a couple of tips to make a dependable loaf every time. One of them is that you probably should invest in a sturdy pan that you use just for bread baking, especially if you want to do it on a regular basis. Now, I got myself a fancy schmancy Dutch oven because I wanted to treat myself. But if you're inclined to want a deal, they have a Dutch oven on Amazon that runs about $55, and it will get you a great loaf of bread. The other thing I recommend is to get a good package of yeast. Now, the brand I use and swear by is called SAF Instant Yeast. You can get a pound of it for $6. In addition, I think it's a good idea to get the organic flour. Now, what I've been doing is using the organic white flour in making oatmeal bread, which adds soluble fiber. Off we go to the kitchen. Now, this is an overnight, no knead recipe, so the day before we want to eat the bread, we can mix the ingredients in a bowl like this. And I'll give you the recipe in the description as well. Now, we have 3 cups of organic bread flour, 1.5 teaspoons salt. You can reduce that to, say, a rounded teaspoon, and it will be fine. Mix those ingredients together, and then add 1/4 teaspoon of that instant yeast. And then add 1 cup of organic rolled oats. You can use the steel-cut oats if you like. Okay, mix the dry ingredients. Then add 3 tablespoons of honey. You can always cut this down, but I use 3. And 14 ounces of cool filtered water. Mix that together thoroughly, preferably with a wooden spoon, and it will look like this. Form it into a ball. You can coat it with olive oil if you like, and cover with plastic wrap for 16 to 24 hours. And then the next day, here we are, peeling off the plastic wrap, and it will look something like this. Then we add sprinkles of flour and punch it down. When you're done punching it, it may look something like this. Now, I like to make baby rolls or second smaller loaf in addition to the big loaf, because then I can taste it if I'm bringing it to a family dinner or giving it away. One for them and one for me. Here we are working in the extra flour by folding it in half and then pressing it down. Now we preheat the oven to 450 and place the dough on a strip of parchment paper. Now, I like to use this parchment paper, which, by the way, can handle the high temperature of the oven, and this will make it easier to lift it out of the hot Dutch oven without burning your arms. And then we do the same to our baby rolls, or a smaller loaf if you choose to do that. And now we are going to brush with olive oil using a pastry brush. Whoops. And now we prop it up again because it will get wider as it sits. We let this rise a second time for about 30 minutes while the Dutch oven itself is heating up in the oven. Using a hot Dutch oven or bakeware often gets you a crispier crust. Now, once it's risen to about double in bulk, it may look something like this. Now pick up the parchment paper to place the raised dough in the bottom part of the Dutch oven. Then we put the bread in the 450-degree oven, and then add the cover that has been warmed as well. Bake covered at 450 degrees for 30 minutes. Then remove the cover and bake about another 10 minutes. You can use your judgment as to how dark you want the crust. Some people like it lighter, but it probably should go at least another 10 minutes. And there you have it.